One day, the people you take for granted today won't be there anymore. Not because something dramatic happens, not because you saw it coming, but because time keeps moving, and it doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. It just takes, slowly, quietly, until one day you look around and things are different. Someone you used to talk to every day is now just a memory. A place that once felt alive feels empty. A moment you thought would last forever is gone. And the hardest part is this: you didn't notice it while it was happening. Because most people live with a dangerous illusion. They believe there's always more time to call, more time to say what they feel, more time to fix things, more time to appreciate what they have. But that later they rely on is not guaranteed. And deep down, you already know that. You felt it before. That moment when something ends, and you realize you would give anything to go back, not to change everything, just to be more present, to pay more attention, to not take it for granted. The Stoics understood this better than most, especially Marcus Aurelius, who constantly reminded himself of one simple truth. You could lose everything at any moment, not to create fear, but to create awareness. Because when you understand that nothing is permanent, everything becomes more valuable. But most people avoid this thought. They push it away. They distract themselves because it's uncomfortable. It forces you to face something real, that everything you have right now is temporary. Every conversation, every laugh, every moment, it's all passing. And once it's gone, you don't get it back. That's why regret exists. Not because you didn't have enough time, but because you didn't realize how valuable it was when you had it. Think about the people in your life right now. The ones you assume will always be there. The ones you don't always prioritize. The ones you think you'll have time for later. Now imagine them gone, not in a dramatic way, just no longer part of your life. And ask yourself honestly, would you have done things differently? Would you have been more present, more patient, more appreciative? Because that answer reveals everything. The Stoic doesn't wait for loss to understand value. They understand it now. They look at the people in their life, and they don't assume permanence. They see reality, and that changes how they act. They listen more. They speak with intention. They appreciate small moments, not because they're trying to be emotional, but because they understand something deeper. This won't last forever, and that realization doesn't make life sad. It makes it meaningful, because when something is limited, it becomes valuable. Time is limited. That's why it matters. People are not permanent. That's why they matter. Moments don't last. That's why they matter. But if you live like everything will always be there, you miss it. You rush through conversations. You delay what matters. You assume there's always tomorrow. And one day, there isn't. Not in the way you expected. And that's when it hits. Not all at once, but slowly, in quiet moments, in memories, in things that used to feel normal, but now feel distant. And you realize something painful. You had it, and you didn't fully see it. That's why Stoicism teaches awareness. Not to make you cold, not to make you detached from life, but to make you present, to make you understand what you have, while you still have it. Because the goal is not to avoid loss. That's impossible. The goal is to live in a way where you don't regret how you experienced it, where you don't look back and think, I should have paid more attention. I should have appreciated it more. I should have been there. Because regret doesn't come from loss alone. It comes from not being present when it mattered. So what do you do with this? You don't panic. You don't become overly emotional. You don't try to control everything. You become aware. You slow down. You pay attention. You stop assuming there's always more time. You treat moments like they matter, because they do. You treat people like they matter, because they do. Not in a dramatic way, not in a forced way, but in a real way. In how you listen, in how you speak, in how you show up. Because one day, this version of your life will no longer exist. This exact moment, these exact people, this exact phase, it will pass, just like everything else has. And when it does, the only thing that will matter is how you experienced it. Not how busy you were, not how distracted you were, not how much you delayed, but how present you were, how aware you were, how much you actually lived it. Because time doesn't stop. It doesn't slow down. It doesn't wait for you to realize its value. It just moves, and your life moves with it. So don't wait for something to be gone to understand what it meant. Understand it now, while it's still here, while you can still experience it, while you still have the chance. Because the moment you truly accept that nothing lasts forever is the moment everything becomes more important, more real, more valuable. And that's what Stoicism is really about. Not detaching from life, but seeing it clearly. So you don't waste it. If this made you think, comment, I see it now. Not for me, for yourself. Because the moment you see it is the moment you start living differently.